Welcome everybody to another episode of Arkansas Wrestling Unleashed. I wanted to have some little intro music there, but every time I've tried to do that, Facebook flagged me. So I have pulled away from doing that. Uh, I'm sure we'll get some viewers kicking in here in a minute. But if you're watching after the fact, which I know apparently happens quite a bit, I got a lot of good feedback off of the last time we did this. Excuse me. So hopefully this will get just as many views as last time because last time was really good. Uh, so, and the reason I'm hoping that because I've got a really special guest on today. Let me fix that. I look weird. Uh, good friend of mine and a guy that I honestly have seen as I look at as the epitome of evolution of a character because this guy has been all over the place with stuff. Basically. Oh, okay, yeah, the comments are already pulling up. Cool, that's awesome. That works. Anyway, sorry. The guy that I've watched grow as a character tremendously, and trying to find his footing in wrestling, and has really made a name himself for himself already. Yeah, I'm stammering a lot because I'm hot and tired. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, he goes by many names. I know him as Tyler. You might know him as Yonko or Mule or El Luchador Grande or something like that. What's going
Bueno
on,
man,
man?
El Gringo Gordo, Bueno man Senior.
I knew it was something like that. I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But man, I appreciate you being on today. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of fun with this.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you for having me on here.
And if I look like I'm spacing out for a second, that's just me checking stuff over here.
That's
Uh,
fine.
we're gonna just kind of piddle around for a second. Hopefully, we can get some viewership in here.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Facebook and YouTube takes a minute for things to click.
Yeah.
Let me
The
go
algorithm
to
has to work.
yeah, and a lot of times too, there. I think apparently there's several other live videos running right now.
Yeah, I know OCL is doing one right now talking about their show from last Friday.
Okay, yeah. So that does happen sometimes. I'm trying to,
There's a non-zero chance Johnny Johnson is doing one.
right, yeah. All right, let me get that posted up there.
Which I always like watching his lives. I feel like I learn a lot
Oh yeah.
from listening to him ramble on.
I don't have him on here, so I'm not. I don't know. We'll go with that. I'm getting the video shared, so.
Yeah, I probably should do that as well. I shared it on the Yonko page. I'm not really sharing anything with the Mule page right now just because of kayfabe.
Yeah, I got you. A little bit of changing up the setup. I really, and when I say that I've enjoyed watching your growth, man, I am 100% for real on that, dude. Like,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
yeah, you've done very well with evolving this character into something that you can make your own. But let's go ahead and get rolling on this. Arkansas wrestling has a lot more companies than I thought it did, and that's why I started doing this. Because I feel like there's a lot of Arkansas wrestlers that don't realize how much is actually out there if you want to stay within the state wrestling. So I wanted to make sure that I try to promote as much as possible. Now, given that if you do not see your stuff shared, it's either because I did not come across it on Facebook or you didn't send me the stuff. 100%. That's how it is. I have to be able to see it on Facebook, or you send me your information. So, like after the last one I did, I had a couple of promoters just start sending me their flyers to be able to put on here, and that made my job a lot easier on this. A lot easier. So. We're gonna roll in. You will see probably a few flyers that you saw last time because again, the shows haven't happened yet. There was quite a few shows on the 9th that we covered last time. So now we're moving on, starting at the 16th. And what I'm doing, I've also got these shows, flyers grouped together. So that way, like if like we're going to start off, I've got some flyers from TNR Wrestling. We're going to hit all of those and then, move on into different ones. So starting off, on the 16th, you got TNR New Dynasty up in Leechville. I have not worked for them, but I've heard they put on a pretty decent little show. After that, on September 20th, they're going to be back in Leechville for Full Force. I know they got a lot of young wrestlers on there that do a really good job. I personally worked with quite a few of them, and even these two old bald guys is on this flyer.
I was about to say they're my favorite young wrestlers, Big C and Big D.
All right, and then TNR rolls into November with Autumn Anarchy, and you can see right there Danny Dollar and Bruno is going to be there. That's awesome. I love Bruno. He is an awesome guy. Has a great way to promote the show and using him, because that dude is great. I love Bruno. I've worked on a multitude of shows with him, and he seems to like me. So.
Yeah, he's been pretty nice whenever I've seen him. He's confused me and Austin O'Malley several times, because Austin was on a show with him one time. He's like, "Are you the clown?" It's like, no, it's the other fat bald guy.
Yeah, but Austin be like, "Do I have a beard?" He can't grow a beard, I don't think.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So.
Bald and beardless. It's always rough for a fat man.
All right. So also, I got the next one up here. MCW runs every Friday night. Sometimes they run Saturdays. I think they just had a show this last Saturday, but this upcoming Friday on the 15th, you got a show here, and they had several flyers out. This is just the one that I brought up. Hollywood versus C Money and Galen Ray. I know those two guys have been all over. But Osceola every Friday night up in Osceola, you got MCW. Now we're going to roll over to the other side of the state. Got a couple of shows here. You got Mutiny Wrestling Federation over in Benton. They're going to be in Bentonville on the 16th. Sky High. I see, dude, Malico. If you ain't never watched
so
him,
cool. David, you will not believe how many other clown adjacent wrestlers that I've watched, generally to make sure that I don't do the same thing.
Neighbor.
Everything from him. I watched a lot of, watched a few videos of what's his name? El Loco, the late, I know he's dead now. He was a larger man, wore a latex clown mask, had a little baby doll. I think his name was El Loco.
Man, I'm blanking on it, but I think I know who you're talking about. But yeah, definitely. If you really want, not even just clown wise, like psychology wise, if you want to see somebody that has great psychology, man, Malico is the guy, dude. Like, he is definitely somebody to watch. I know he
too.
Oh, dude, his promos are epic. So also on that side of the state, you got Classic Championship Wrestling, which recently purchased Diamond State Wrestling. So you see a good combination there. You've got a lot of the CCW guys, but then you see Xander Gold and Pineapple Jack.
Kurt Castle.
Kurt Castle's been working for CCW for a while, so he's been there. But man, that's a good call. Frankie Lee is over there, the guy to the side of Xander Gold. I've actually worked. Yeah, my neighbors are having fun, I guess. I personally worked with him at a show, and all good guy. And then Terry Pantera, the guy right in the middle there, really good guy too. I met him when I was first starting out and everything. So now, going on here, I've got another one here that kind of caught me off guard, because I thought they were primarily in Mississippi, but apparently Bayou Independent Wrestling is going to be in Fountain Hill, Arkansas. There was quite a few flyers for them. This is the closest one I found to just a standard flyer.
Mhm.
But man, they got Geo Savage is down there quite a bit. I love
Huh.
that guy. But yeah, if you're in the Fountain Hill area or you're trying to get booked with these guys, go check them out. Ray Fury, right there. That dude is phenomenal, phenomenal wrestler. Cigarette went out.
Mm.
We gotta get a little breaks here and there, to break up the monotony of me just talking.
Right.
All right, so moving back over into this area, northeast area, you got Wrestling with Pride, who just finished up their second year anniversary show. Looks like September 13th. My thing's cutting me off. They're going to be in Paragould. Got the debut of Leon King, which I'm not exactly sure who that is.
I assume it's the person in the middle that looks a lot like James Charles.
I meant who he is outside of this fire, you pecker. But yeah, that's the only one I've seen so far with them. But then you've got a debuting show in Searcy, Fight for Glory, Searcy, Arkansas.
Okay.
Looks like August 23rd. They're going to be up. I showed this flyer last time. A lot of guys you see at Wrestling with Pride and TNR. Good. They do a lot of combination shows and all, but this one is the young man that's running it is trying to branch out on his own and trying to learn how to do stuff like that. We'll just go with that. What's up? Looks like Bruce is watching.
Hey.
Bruce, you're supposed to be enjoying the gathering, not worrying about what we're doing.
Yeah, show somebody your butthole, Bruce.
I don't get that. I've seen a lot of people say that. I'm confused on that.
They were saying it at the float, from what I understand. And he has that pin of somebody's butthole that says, "Show me your butthole." So,
gotcha. All right, we're gonna move around here. Now we got coming out of Forest City. We got Southern Extreme Wrestling. With all disrespect, September 13th over in Forest City. A lot of good talent on this show. Personally knows Cassandra Golden. You just had to experience it. Unfortunately, I tagged with Bruce, so I may have experienced it one too many times.
Oh, that's TB. That's my beautiful baby boy. That's my beautiful baby boy.
I love TB. Honestly, 100%. That Mosquito Fest show when he worked with Sanativa. Did I say his name right?
Sanativa, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm so proud of TB there, man.
I know.
So proud of him. He did so well. Went viral with the slide thing, man. I don't know if it was the slide or the ref slide at the end of it made it. But
I refuse to give any sort of credit whatsoever to Sebastian Moon for anything, so I'm going to say the slide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You like Sebastian?
Fuck Sebastian. Fuck Sebastian. Fuck that guy.
If you weren't aware, this is not a kid-friendly show. So,
thanks for telling me.
All right, so we're gonna move back over. We're all over the place on this. I've got them all spaced out, but we're back over on the western side of things. We got Lionheart Championship Wrestling, and this is a crazy one. This is Monday, August 18th. Two things: it's my wife's birthday, so we will not be attending this. Right, no. But also, too, this is in Dover. This is literally 10 miles down the road from my house. I know a lot of the guys on this show. Yeah, Sam Stackhouse will be there. Brandon Groom, Matthew DeLuna. I love that guy. Love that kid. Sabotage, who is a local guy. He is from this area. Glad to see him getting the spotlight on this show. I absolutely love that guy.
Yeah.
After that, what they have scheduled is in October 4th, Fallout Zone in Mulberry, Arkansas. Yeah, Phil, there is a lot of promotions. I've got roughly 33 flyers here. So, but yeah, they'll be back in Mulberry, which is their hometown where they normally are in October. Now we roll back into the Northeast side. One of the longer running shows on Saturdays is OCW.
Mm-hmm.
So this Saturday, they've got their King of OCW show. This is just one of the flyers I found. Looks like a 5-way ladder match. But every Saturday night, you can find OCW down there in Hoxie. And then the 23rd, they're bringing in Aaron Roberts, which is something I did not see happening. Aaron is all over the place, man. That dude is doing big things.
He is, and I'm glad for him. I've met him a couple times. He's extremely nice.
Dude, extremely nice. I actually, when I was running my show, I had him on mine a couple of times. Very awesome guy. Him and Zay are just a killer talent. Killer talent. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we're running back to the other side of the state. We've got Ozark Mountain Wrestling, formerly owned by Killer Nichols. I hate to say it that way, but it's true. Rest in peace. But his legacy lives on through Ozark Mountain Wrestling. You got Final Exam on September 6th over in Rogers, Arkansas. If you're in the area, man, they have got a loaded roster of people they use. I know Mike Anthony and Action Jackson are there quite a bit. And there's a lot of guys out of Texas and Oklahoma that work over there. Amazing people. Hold on, Greg Matthew won the Gladiator Champion Wrestling unit. Oh yeah. DeLuna for Gladiator Championship Wrestling. That dude has won just about every title that Gladiator has to offer. He's a multiple-time heavyweight champion. They're United States champion. Multiple-time tag team champion with them. He's killing it over there.
Yeah. Good for him. I've never met him. The most I know is that he has a finish called the Atomic Corn Dog. And I think that's very funny.
I have taken that move. Basically it's an atomic drop, and when you pop up, it spins you around and gives you an atomic drop.
Gets you right in the bunk hole.
That knee goes right up in the old booty hole, and it is not fun. All right, so we're going to roll back up to Northeast Arkansas. Now, I thought I was done with TNR, but TNR is working with Southern Championship Wrestling for Fall Brawl, September 27th in Pocahontas. See a loaded card there. I see Phil was on here, commented a while ago. I see his picture on there.
Big old nasty Phil, and I think I want to say that's Vinny as well.
Yes, it is. He has a lot to do with Southern Championship Wrestling. Very good guy. I met him when we did the Ricky Rowland Memorial Show. Awesome guy. You got Josh Cross, K9s, Tim Hansen, Cody Hayes, all those guys.
Yep. The Rob father.
I don't like that guy. No, I'm just kidding.
I like the name. Wait. I like his name.
Dude, I see Cody Only up in that left-hand corner, too. But they need to update the picture. He's bald now. He has joined the Bald Brotherhood. All right, so let's roll down to Texarkana area for Hype and Glory Wrestling. This one I really like, and this is actually a Saturday show. Normally they run on Fridays, so I love seeing that they're on a Saturday. It gives me hope I might be able to get back down there someday and work for them.
That's my boy. Oh, what's his name now? It's like Steve Remsen. It used to be Stonewall. Stonewall. I forgot what his working name is now.
Stevon Remsen.
Yeah, Stevon.
I just call him Remy. I love that guy.
The
Ring Bully. The Ring Bully. He is. And then you got Mox. I think that's Mox Mosley, the guy with the guitar, and then the Evil Twins are the tag champs. Good show. Everything I've seen. The guy that runs it, I feel like does a phenomenal job. He's doing something different because a lot of the guys you see on this show, you will not see anywhere else in Arkansas.
Yeah.
A lot of them are out of Texas. Some are from South Arkansas, but man, they do a killer job. They really do. I worked for Darby once or twice. Really love the way he puts things together, man. Now we're going to roll up into the Little Rock area. We got TAC Wrestling, Fat Man Forever. I don't know what to think about that because that's definitely
going to be one hell of a card. That's what it's going. I've seen the card. I know who all's wrestling there. It's going to be a hell of a card. I was originally going to work that show when it was on the 13th, but it got moved to the 6th, and that's the A-State Arkansas game, and I couldn't miss that because my lovely wife bought tickets, and since she bought tickets, I wasn't going to go. Hey, honey, I'm going to have to not do it for wrestling. That money you just wasted it. I'm not doing that. I love my wife too much.
Right, I understand. I did see, a few flyers on this. They got Gary and Tier versus Ole Emerson, which, man, that's one I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely want to watch. I seen Fiona and Reza going 1-on-1. You're going to hear from Grayson Beckett, the TAC champion right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you see there, got Herzog, K. Toomer, Avion Gray, West Warren. I mean, dude, it's a loaded card. Every
TAC card is loaded.
It is. That's why, I can't even get on them sometimes. So, and I know most of those guys very well.
Well, I do know that a certain creepy clown is going to be coming to TAC very soon.
That's awesome. I love hearing that. I'm hoping we can get back on there here pretty soon. There's a reason why, but I'm not going to put that out there, But I'm looking forward to getting back up there. I love Vino's. I love the spot. The crowd there is second to none. Dude, you could freaking put somebody in a pinky toe hold, and they'll be like, "Yeah, rip his toe off." Yeah. I mean, they're just phenomenal.
Usually, I go there and I get the crowd because I talk about fucking people's dads. Like, it's great.
Dude, I saw the clip. I did see that clip, and I laughed so hard. That was. There's been a few viral moments that popped there. Yeah, I remember the Coke Hogan incident.
The Coke spot. That Coke spot that had millions stolen from all of these. I personally feel, that cane, whenever all those cane gimmicks were going around.
Yeah.
How they have cocaine.
Yeah.
I personally, for no reason whatsoever, I feel like if without that cocaine spot at TAC, we wouldn't have cocaine.
Dude, that's a valid point, man.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure nothing really to do with it, but in my heart of hearts, that's what I'm going to believe.
All right, so now we're going to roll into the Mountain Pine area for South Central Wrestling. They had several flyers out, but this is the one I picked. Billy the Kid and Sebastian Envy. But it looks like August 23rd, Mountain Pine, Arkansas, South Central Wrestling. Another pretty good show. If you get a chance, I mean, definitely, worth working. Definitely worth going to see.
Yep, I debuted there. That's when I had my.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Once we get through the flyers, we'll go into more of your details and stuff.
Okay.
Right here we got Harvest Havoc from Haybarn Championship Wrestling down in Prescott, Arkansas. Fred, don't talk. Fred, you can't type that. Facebook will flag you.
Yeah.
You can't use that word.
Yeah, Fred, it sounds like you're telling him to do it. You're telling him to do it.
But no, Haybarn, man, they got the venue that they use. I'm not sure what it actually is now. If it's like a civic center or an armory or something like that. But man, they've got a killer place.
I was hoping for an actual barn, but
no, it's actually because the guys that started it ran Haybarn Diesel. It's a mechanic shop. It's last names Hayes and Barn, I think.
Okay.
I believe that's correct. Greg, yeah, we hadn't got to that yet. We got you, man. This Sunday, you've got NSR, August 17th. Where the hell is this again?
Little Rock,
North Little Rock, yeah. And you never know. Some crazy psycho might actually even show up to this.
Oh, I know a certain clown is popping up, and this show is. With this show, it's more than just the wrestling. You got live music. It's technically a birthday party, and all the proceeds go to families who were directly impacted by ICE. Yeah.
I'm glad you put that out there because I wasn't exactly sure what all the deal was.
Yeah, you know, her
Gotcha.
president's personal Gestapo. But it's for a good cause. It's for a good
Yeah.
cause. That's the most political I'm going to get tonight.
Not to worry, not
Yeah.
to worry.
Yeah.
All right, so let's roll back over to the western side. We've got Tornado Pro Wrestling, October 11th in Fort Smith, Arkansas, which I believe is their second show that they're running. It's a new upstart company. I know there will be a certain set of monsters at this show.
Okay.
So, if you're up in the Fort Smith area, October 11th, come check it out. We're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be another show October 4th up in that area, blending in with the comedy festival. I don't have details that I can really put out there just yet, but once it does, it's going to be all over the show here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we've got Wild Card Wrestling up in Paragould, September 5th. They're going to be up in that area. I know they're typically up in that area, but apparently, from what I saw earlier today, which I did not get to download the thing, but their schedule, they're going to be all over Northeast Arkansas coming up.
Run around Jonesboro, Paragould, all of that.
Yeah. So I hope it works out. I've not personally worked for them, so I can't really say much about it because I don't know. But apparently, they put on a decent show. Now we'll get to the one, Greg, that you were talking about. GCW Fall Brawl. This is in Greenwood. This ain't the one he was talking about. I didn't see the other one, the Fort Smith one you were talking about. But this is in Greenwood, Arkansas. Fall Brawl, September 6th. If you're in the area, make sure you go check it out. I've worked for GCW quite a few times. Got a good roster of talent. It's a fun show to be a part of. Now we're gonna move back over here, and this is one that I wanted to put out there on September 6th. 100 Wrestling is in Wynne, Arkansas. Yet again, a certain set of monsters are going to be a part of this show. But you see there, you got Alan Steele, you got Aaron Roberts, Tootie Lynn, and Bruno, who will also be doing a wrestling seminar from 2 to 4 p.m. $30 to get you a spot, talking about refs, managers, psychology, and path to WWE. So if you have the opportunity, definitely take advantage of that. I'm hoping I can be able to get there in time to do it.
I think I'm working that during that day. I'm pretty sure 901 has a show.
Yeah. Well, and then, okay.
On the 6th.
Okay, anyway. That's also the same day TAC is running.
Oh, in that case, no, I don't have a show. I'm going to be at a football game.
Yeah, so. All right, so now we're going to get down to these final groupings. All Pro Wrestling, typically their main base is out of Marianna, Arkansas, but they do travel quite a bit. And, this last Saturday. Yeah, I talked about that show on the previous one, Greg. But yeah, I got you. All right, so APW, so they were one of the ones that really wanted me to put out their information. So I've got multiple flyers for them coming up. You muted yourself. Okay. I was making sure you knew that.
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah,
I'm used to Fred.
Yeah, no. I was letting my wife know something.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're going to start out right here. APW, September 25th. We're Marvel, Arkansas. They're going to be over there, Tri-County Fair. So that's definitely something to check out. If you miss them then this is one, unless you're already on a show, you should be a part of. October 4th, the Smitty. I know I will not be able to attend, unfortunately, but man, look at that card they got there. And you got Ricky Morton right in front. I mean, you got, JPJ, Kerry Morton, Buck Skinner,
Mm-hmm.
Nix, Ahmad. That dude is phenomenal. You got Geo Savage. I mean,
William Blackwell.
Dude, so many great wrestlers. William and Ahmad are booked for a match there. Dude, that's going to be a technical masterpiece.
Oh, I bet.
Rolling next, you got October 11th, the very next weekend. This is going to be in Marietta, Georgia. Georgia? Where the fuck did I get Georgia? Marietta, Arkansas. I believe this is going to be. This is going to be at the Lee High School. They always have a stacked card with this show. And then looks like 2 weeks later, APW on the 25th of October will be in Forest City. Free with admission to the fair, another fair show. So you definitely got to go check them out. And then finally, November 29th.
That's my birthday.
You got Marietta, Arkansas again. Looks like the Earl Frank Arena. That's their primary location where they do their training and everything like that. And the reason I bring up that is because they are also that day going to be doing a free pro wrestling workshop. Basically, you get to come in and learn from multiple different people that have done all sorts of things all over the South. It looks like a 4-hour camp. I heard the one they did last year was a great success. A few of the young guys that attended this started getting booked on that show. So definitely worth the shot. Definitely worth checking into. I'm looking at my schedule to see, because I'll be honest with you, I know who's doing majority of it, and if I don't have anything already set up, I may be attending that myself.
Yep, I'm probably going to be there.
Learning.
Like a good solid 8 out of 10. I'm going to be there.
Yeah, Jason. Yeah, that I remember at the APW show, the Smitty last year. That was a fun time. That's the first time I got to work the Twins as well. So, but I got one flyer left, and it's not Arkansas wrestling, but it is an Arkansas wrestler that I'm extremely proud of. I've been watching this guy here recently just really start to make his mark and really put himself out there. Buddy Badcock is getting a tryout for CZW Tournament Death. Now, Buddy has become the premier deathmatch wrestler in Arkansas. And getting a spot, if he gets a spot on CZW, dude, that right there will legitimize what he's doing.
He's going to pop off. He's going to pop off.
I'm so now here's the kicker. He's got to go all the way to Delaware to do this.
Yeah.
So you see on the, let me get rid of this little banner real quick.
Yeah, because it's
on the bottom there. You see his Venmo, and then I guess that's his Cash App afterwards.
Yeah, the Venmo's cut off.
Yeah, I think 29. He put it on the post itself, but it's 29 is the last one. But yeah, if you want to sponsor him or help him out or anything like that, I know it would be greatly appreciated, because this guy's worked his ass off to do what he's doing.
He has.
I will have him on a future show coming up. We've already discussed it. We haven't set an actual date yet, but. Looks like now we can get into the nitty gritty on this. We have went through every show that we can think of. And if you're just now tuning in, go back and watch it afterwards. Check out all these different things. If you're an Arkansas wrestler or you want to wrestle in Arkansas, these are the shows to hit up. I mean, in all honesty, there's only a couple of shows that I do not put out there, and I wouldn't put their name out there to give them to you. So if you want connections on that, message me. I have a list of every single Arkansas show and 90% of who books them. There's only a couple I'm not sure on. But if you want connections on who to contact to get on one of these shows, let me know. I can send you my list. That being said, now we're going to get into the portion where we talk to Mr. Yonko Mule Bailey guy. I'm not sure which way you want to go because I know you're basically right now you're starting to intertwine
Mm-hmm.
these different personalities, and that's one thing when I first brought you on, when I said watching your evolution has been amazing. I truly meant that because
Thank
not
you.
very many people can evolve as fluidly as you did, and now you're taking these characters. What? All right, let's start off with the beginning of it. Let's talk about what made you think of these characters and what makes you strive to evolve them into what they're becoming. Does that make if that makes sense the way I
Yeah,
word
yeah,
it?
I get you. So whenever I was first starting out wrestling, I was doing something very similar to Mr. Mule, to where I first debuted as Yogi Ferrell, and that was at SCW. That was in Mountain Pine, and the idea was just an angry Southern man. I was like, all right, I'm basically going to be Yosemite Sam, and I
Oh, I
dressed
missed.
up. Basically, my my gear looked like a bad Street Fighter character. I had the bandana and everything. I had like this white shirt. This is absolutely feral, and I looked kind of silly. But I got a cease and desist. Turns out there is a basketball player named Yogi Ferrell, and whenever I was trying to apply for a trademark, it was during the time where like Chris Jericho and whatever lawyer he used was like, "Hey, you need to wrestlers, you need to get your trademarks out there." Mine got rejected, and I got a cease and desist because of that. And so I
Oh
moved down
wow,
here. Yeah, and so I
I didn't
moved.
even know about that.
Yeah, and so I moved up to Jonesboro because I was in Little Rock at the time. Moved to Jonesboro to follow my wife, who is a breadwinner. She was a doctor, and it was like, oh, she got a better job over here. We're
Hold,
following
hold,
her.
hold on, time out. You're a wrestler and your wife is a doctor. That is like the phenomenal combination of people right there.
Mm.
Baby, I hurt my back again. What do I do?
Unfortunately, not that kind of doctor, but she
Ah,
specialized. Yeah, she specialized in hearing. So it is one of those things to where I will need it in the future. In fact,
I'd say
yeah, she has me check my hearing every year, and she does it. But yeah, so we moved up here, and that kind of just dissolved one because of like the season assist, and that's whenever I met Craig. And well, my dad knew Craig because they were both car dealers, and so he
yeah.
was like, "Hey, there's this guy at the auction. He runs this pro wrestling deal. Let's go up there one time and we see a show." And then the next couple of months, I'm like, "All right, I'm training with Craig." And Craig runs, the show that he runs, MACW. It's one of the big shows in Northeast Arkansas. It's one of those things where there's a lot of people trying to get on, and there's like a set standard, and so it's one of those things to
So
where it's like, oh
gladiator.
yeah, it's like one of those things to where I'm debuting, and you know how a lot of times whenever they first start wrestling, they wear a mask, and the idea is to
I
protect
did
you.
that for 5 years.
Cataclysm. To quote my boy Uncle Phil, Nasty Phil, fuck Cataclysm. However, the idea, I was like, well, I don't really have a mask, but I used to be a birthday clown. Whenever I was in college, that's how I used to make a lot of my beer money, was as a birthday clown. Wouldn't do as many, like I wouldn't do a lot of kid parties. I was
Yeah.
mainly for fraternities and stuff. They would hire me to go to drunk while they're drunk. Great gig, very fun, way easy to make tips because I was taking advantage of them. But they're frat guys, so who the fuck cares? Uh, and so it's like, okay, well, I could just do this because the face paint, I know how to do it. I was so used to it to
Yeah.
where it has a similar effect as a mask because whenever I'm tired of losing, I'm 2-3 years in, I'm not losing as much, which I who would have thought. I could just take it off, and I'm someone else. And so that's when I started doing the clown. I also wear a mask. I just touched my face, and it's very ugly. You said it, not me, brother. You said it, not me. Don't worry, Nick. There's hope for you. It's called
What's
a
up,
plastic.
Gladiator? Hey, Gladiator, make sure you go check it out. We talked about y'all some on here
Yeah.
earlier.
And so this is how it kind of started out. And then whenever I was doing a little bit more and I just kind of got tired of doing the face paint, I was just like, well, I was talking to Craig. It's like, look, don't want to do this as much. Whenever I was at OCW at the time, I was doing something very similar to what I do now with Mr. Mule. I was Ugly Steve.
Yeah,
I was
I
Ugly
remember
Steve.
that.
I wore a mask, had the hillbilly stuff going on because Craig told me if I was going to work at OCW, he wanted me to wear a mask because I was still green.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I like the mask too because you put it on, you had your neck beard puffing out.
And it was great. And so I finally got the go ahead from Craig to where I could take it off. And so that went from the hillbilly to where went from Ugly Steve to Steve Mule. And I hated, because that's one of the things, it's one of the reasons why I like dropped the Mister from Yonko, why I dropped, because it would have a full name. It'd be like Ugly Steve Scruggs, but I would only be called Ugly Steve. I was like, well, where's the rest of the name going? Even like whenever I'm getting announced, it wasn't Ugly Steve Scruggs. People would just say Ugly Steve whenever I'm getting talked there. It's not Mr. Yonko Bailey or Yonko Bailey. It's just Mr. Yonko. I'm sorry, that's a strange tangent to go on. Long story short, they all just kind of combined because it was two separate deals, and I stopped doing Yonko until I stopped doing anything clown related until December with Ricky. So Ricky loved the clown gimmick.
Yeah, Ricky loved get characters.
Ricky,
that's why he liked me.
Rockin' Ricky Rowland loved the clown gimmick. He loved clowns in general. Every time before he had died, him and I would talk a lot about Bozo, like Bozo specifically. He would always call me Clown Man. And whenever he died, I was like, I kind of want to go back to the clown and stuff. And that's how Mr. Mule came about, to where I was combining it two. That was the combination to where it's like, oh, I'll do kind of both. I'll work this very similar, and I'll wear lighter face paint. And to where, because I was wearing a lot less face paint as Mr. Mule. It was inspired by what's called an Auguste clown, to where all the makeup's just kind of around the eyes and around the mouth. Because a lot of times, whenever you think of a clown, it's all the white face paint and everything, but the vast majority of clowns don't have all that. It's usually just around the eyes and stuff. So I was like, okay,
honestly, I think the reason a lot of people attribute the white face paint for clowns is it.
Yeah, Pennywise. That's where a lot of the fear from clowns stem, specifically like Pennywise. Oh, thanks. And
that's Bruce's boy, Caden.
Yeah, Caden. It's the nicest thing I think he's ever said to me.
Yeah, you don't get very many compliments out of that guy.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, this is kind of what I want to do. However, it wouldn't get booked. Nobody wanted to book Mr. Mule the Clown. I think the only person that would book it was Walker. Love him. My boy Walker 13, Clayton Wheeler, love him. He is my boy. He is one of my biggest supporters. And I owe a lot to him.
I'm mad at him. We were supposed to have a tables match, and he canceled on me. I've never got to work with Walker.
I got to work with him a few times. It's great.
I've been around him majority of the time. Like when I first got into it, like after my first year, I started traveling. I went down. This is my Walker story, which is funny for me. I went down to EPW, and that was the first time where I met Walker. Him and Andy Mack were kind of walking through some stuff that they were wanting to work on during the match, and I kind of, I might not be the biggest guy, but I worked like a big guy. So I was kind of like, hey, well, what if you did this? Well, years later, he commented on something about how I helped out a green kid at a show and this, that, and the other. I was like, Walker, you've been doing this longer than me. I'm just old. So that's my fun Walker story. I love that guy, though.
I love him. And so nobody wanted to book Mr. Mule the Clown. And so it's like, well, shit, I'm just going back to the hillbilly stuff. That's what bookers are wanting, but I'm keeping the name. And so it went from Moonshine Mangler Mr. Mule to just Mangler Mr. Mule. And then one day, Bobby Ford, he sends me a text message, and he's like, hey, we're doing the show with 901. It's carnival themed. Can you do the clown? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then he's like, can you do it creepy? Can you do creepy clown? I was like, I don't really know. I've never done it before. Generally, like regular clowns and creepy clowns kind of have like this historical kind of feud beef. It's a whole deal. Regular clowns are like, you're ruining our jobs. You're making kids afraid of clowns. And creepy clowns are like, I'm just trying to exist, bro. And so I was like, sure. And then July happens, and Walker's running the show, and we do it. He has me booked because originally, like, the main event was going to be me and Walker, but then we get some more people added on, and so it turns into the main event of me and the Merc Chris Evans, who is also a very phenomenal wrestler. We're wrestling Walker and Kevin Bliss, who is 901's heavyweight champ. And so the thing is, though, the creepy Yonko popped the fuck off to where the promo that I cut for it, I'm having people sending me messages like, why don't you do this all the time? Why aren't you just always Yonko? The video of me doing like my entrance comes out to where I think Daniel Lopez, he's a great fan. He records damn near everything that he goes to. And he doesn't have a car. He rides all across Memphis on his bike. Shout out to him. Shout out to Daniel.
He's rode his bike to Hoxie before.
That's crazy. That is crazy. There's something wrong with him.
It was the Halloween show when we did that weird ass ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
He rode his bike to Hoxie to see it.
Yeah, and so he recorded like my entrance, and that got like 10,000 views, and it just kind of popped up from there. I'm getting messages from people that were like, I specifically want to wrestle Yonko. And so I'm having several companies. They're like, hey, we want to get you booked for Yonko because our guy wants to wrestle you. I was like, okay, well, we're doing that. And now it's like, well, I do Yonko more. I want to get booked as Yonko more. And the way that him and Mule are kind of combined, because, I'm already wrestling places as Mule, but I'm the same person. I'm very obviously the same person. I have tattoos. I wrestle shirtless.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think more fat guys should be doing, but that's a different story. And so, some places are like, well, this is obviously Mr. Mule, but he's acting like it's a different person. Or with Tuckerman,
personality, man.
Yeah, that's what they go for. And with Tuckerman, we have this kind of story going on because the last show I was at, TB's my tag partner, and we wrestled the Outbreak.
Yeah.
The Outbreak, formerly the Twins of Salem. Currently, they're at the Gathering. Yeah. They're wrestling around JCW.
Guys.
Phenomenal guys. Great wrestlers. They have a great way to look at wrestling.
Great people.
Exactly. The way that they talked to whenever TB and I were setting up this match with them, the way that they talked about setting up the match, specifically as moments, changed how I look about wrestling and how I structure my matches.
Jackson. So I was thinking about if this is okay with you, Mm-hmm. That's Jackson to a T. Guy that's been doing it as long as he has, still wanting to make sure that even guys that have been doing it less time are okay with things. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love his mindset on wrestling. And then Abel, like when they say twin bodies, one mind, they mean it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like wrestling the same guy twice. It's insane. But anyway, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
And so the last show I was at, the August show, they sprayed me with the black mist. They sprayed me with the black mist. I'm convulsing and everything. And originally, I wasn't coming back to Tuckerman until the October show for the Halloween show. And I was talking to Craig. I was like, hey, what if since I got missed and everything, I come back as Yonko. It's Halloween. TB comes out, trying to figure out where I am, and I attack TB. And that's not how this has turned out because Craig, he was like, we want to stretch this out some. Now, since everything with TAC got moved around to where I'm not booked on the 13th, I'm going to be there at September, and TV and I are going to do some more stuff. The last show, I wasn't at the August show. I was at the July show because the August show just happened. I was there. Yeah. The August show that just happened, TB, as far as I'm aware, TB went out, cut a promo saying, hey, where's I can't find Mule. And I did this promo. I sent it into Craig, and they played it on their big screen. And it's basically just me as Mule in a dark room going, hey, where are you? I don't know where I'm at. And then Yonko's face appears to the side. He turns around and he blows out the candle that I had lit.
Awesome.
And then you just hear a blood-curdling yell. It was scary enough. I showed it to my wife, and it scared her.
That's awesome. That's what I was going to ask you is being Yonko, how does that affect the tag team?
I don't know how much I want to spoil with that, honestly.
Dude, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Negatively. That's how it affects the tag team negatively. But it's one of those things to where TB and I have talked about it.
I love
to a
that.
great.
I love
Thank you,
that right
Tommy.
there.
Tommy, for those who aren't aware, Tommy Jacks is one of the brains behind 901 Wrestling in Memphis, and I love Tommy, and I just want to point out that Tommy has told me one of the sweetest, best things that I've ever heard from somebody. That one of the best compliments that I've ever gotten from somebody in wrestling, because he told me one time, it was after the show as Yonko, that first one that I did. He looked at me and he said, Mule, they are going to be so disappointed that we found you first.
And he's not wrong. He's not wrong, because, like I said, I've watched you outside of the SCW stuff, because there was a lot of that stuff. I really didn't see a whole lot of that stuff. But since you came to MACW and you've been hitting around that area and all, going into your Memphis stuff and everything, I've watched you grow as a wrestler, as a character, and everything like that. And dude, when I say I'm highly impressed, I am, because you know me, I'm all about character.
Yes.
Because like for me, a good character can cover up what you lack in the ring. Me personally, that's where the way I look at it. Wrong one. That was the first comment. It's true. We believe in Mr. Mule and scared of Yonko Bailey. But no, like, dude, I phenomenally. I think character wise, you are phenomenal. You are definitely, to me, you could easily fit into any show that it brings you in. Character wise, you're head and shoulders above where most people are, where you're at wrestling wise. And I fully believe that you have a good future ahead of you with this character. And that's why I wanted to get into the whole thing, the difference. Facebook notification. I wanted to get in, the preference between the two. I was curious why you went from Yonko to Mule back. And now that you've explained that, I love hearing that story. So I feel like the Yonko character has more longevity.
I believe so too. Yeah.
Well, because I do creepy, I do crazy and stuff like that, but with that type of character, you can figure out how to evolve that character to keep it from getting stale. And that's what I feel like I've done over the years. I'm just pretty too, so yeah.
Oh yeah.
What originally wanted you to get into wrestling?
So I loved wrestling as far as I can remember. I
love that kid too.
Oh, Jackson. We'll see you soon, Jackson. Don't you worry, boys and girls. Jackson and I are going to have a very fun time.
I tenderized him for you.
I lost my train of thought. What was it? What did you?
What?
What got me into wrestling? Sorry.
ADD.
Yeah.
ADD.
The clown can't escape for a second. Yeah, no. I always loved wrestling as a kid. My parents were big wrestling fans. They brought it out a lot with me. We'd watch wrestling whenever I was younger. My grandparents were always big wrestling fans. Whenever I would go off to there, they didn't really have much to watch. All they had was little rabbit ears. So we get whatever the free channels were, and wrestling was on one of them. I'd be there on the weekends, and we watched SmackDown, and we would talk about it. I would talk about wrestling a lot, to the point to where that's all I ever. Craig, how do you know that story?
We'll get into that in a second. Then I definitely have to hear that. I definitely have to hear that.
Oh, damn it, Tony! My dad, I guess my dad told you that story, huh, Craig? But yeah, so I always loved it as a kid, to the point to where I was banned from talking about it, like in general. My parents would, I would talk about it because I'm just young autistic kid who has a hyperfixation, to where that's all I want to talk about. And nobody around me cared about wrestling at all. Maybe a little bit, but not to the far extent. And so it was to the point to where it was making it difficult for me to socialize because that's all I wanted to talk about.
I understand
yeah.
completely.
And so there would be times when our parents are like, nope, you're grounded from wrestling. You're not allowed to talk about it. You're not allowed to watch it. And there was some times where this was caused by like outward aggression that I would have. And they're like, nope, it's because of wrestling. And there was just times where I loved wrestling so much I was not allowed to talk about it because that was all I cared about. And that's how I got into it. How I got specifically into wrestling, like now, becoming a professional wrestler. My wife and I were living in Little Rock, and it had been so long since I've watched wrestling just in general. Post COVID, and it was the 2021. I want to say the 2021 or 2022 Royal Rumble. So Royal Rumble was my favorite match as a kid. It's still my favorite match. I love Rumbles. I don't as much like wrestling in them because they're hard to make good. But although 901 had a really good one, but they're so hard to do as a performer. But to watch, I loved them. I loved them as a kid so much. Whenever I was playing the games, a lot of times I would have a Royal Rumble loaded up on like SmackDown versus Raw. It was just the computers, and I would watch the computers. And so we're watching this, and the Royal Rumble, I don't know if you remember it, but it was dog shit. It was so awful. And this is the first time my wife is ever watching wrestling either. And she's like, I don't get it. Why do they keep saying Seth freaking Rollins? I remember that specifically was one of her complaints because it's so dumb. I'm thinking the same thing. It's like, baby girl, I don't know how to tell you this. This is bad. I picked a bad one for you for this to be your first time watching. But while I'm watching this, I'm thinking, I could do this. I can do this. I always wanted to be a wrestler as a kid. Whenever I was a kid, small child, that was the only thing I wanted to be whenever I was growing up. That's the only job I ever wanted. Whenever I was 18, that's the only thing I wanted to do. But I remember my dad kind of having a conversation with me. He sits me down and it's like, son, we're going to have to be realistic. You're fat, out of shape, and you don't seem to have any ambition on changing that. So you're not going to be a wrestler. So stop saying it, pick something, actually find something that you can be. Like he was right. He was right. I'm just because I've always been, barring like 1 or 2 years as an adult where I lost a whole bunch of weight, I've always been fat. I wasn't even playing football then. I was in band. But I was watching this and I was like, hold on. Dad, you don't see how bad these guys are out there. I can do this. And so I remember looking up on my phone. I just Googled and it was like wrestling schools near me. And I found one in Little Rock. And that wasn't going to work because I was only going to be in Little Rock for like 3 months. And I had it set up to where I was going to train with Craig after those 3 months. But still, that's 3 months. And so they weren't going to work out because they wanted like the full $3,000. And they also were like, we can't really teach you anything in 3 months. But if we do, we're wanting the $3,000. This is normally like a year deal that is paid over, but
yeah, I get it.
You're going to have to pay the full thing regardless. And so I found a different one. I found Antonio Reyes, El Rey. He runs SCW, and his deal popped up on Facebook. I call him, and I just started training with him. Drove an hour to train in his garage with Helvet Troll, Adam Shepard, and the ring announcer for TAC, Mean Dean Harrison.
Oh, I didn't know Mean Dean started there.
He did. Originally, we were going to be a tag team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I knew him for years before wrestling because we used to play competitive Smash Brothers together. And so, and him and I were always big wrestling buddies, and we talk about it. And it got to the point to where he was riding up. He would drive to my apartment. He would hop up in my Mustang, and we would commute there every Saturday and most Tuesday nights.
I get that because there's a couple of the guys that I helped train that used to drive to my house. I have a ring that I built because I work at a metal factory. I have a ring that I built in my backyard. and that's where we trained. And I'll tell you right now, if you can bump in my ring, you can bump in any ring.
Well,
And that's where like a lot of the guys that I helped train, that's where several of them started.
Yeah, I
So
didn't bump in a ring until after my first month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Antonio, he had a ring, but it hadn't been set up for God knows how long.
Oh, yeah.
So we were just in his garage. He had a mat, you know, an 1.5 inch thick mat that like gymnasts use on the concrete, and he had it set up to where it's half the width of the ring, and that's where we bumped. And then at the end of the month,
right there.
Yep. And then at the end of the month, we would take the ring, the actual ring. We would take it to the Mountain Pine High School. We set it up, and then we got ring time before the show. Once a month.
All right. So before we move into anything else, I got to hear this story. I've got to hear this.
All right. So, like many professional wrestlers, I used to be a backyard wrestler. Whenever I want to say in junior high, me and a couple buddies, we had set up a backyard wrestling deal. We called it ATW Wrestling with an R. Arkansas.
Is that where Sleazy got his?
No, he knows nothing about this. I have not told anybody this story at all. My dad knows, so I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why Craig knows. And so we were very tame for backyard wrestling, like just in general. Like we're on a trampoline. We're not taking any bumps outside. We're not hitting really each other with chairs or going through tables. It was just really shitty wrestling that a lot of times I would have to edit to where it's just us hitting moves together. And we would cut promos and stuff. I had about like 3 or 4 different characters. The only ones I really remember is being like Havoc, which was just a shitty mask that I got from Halloween. And I used to be a Big Balls Mahoney kid. I loved him as a kid. So it was either Dick Nuts or Ballsy McGee. And it was just me in a fucking orange flannel shirt that I had rolled up in jean shorts doing a Balls and Mahoney impression.
Those names are great.
I'm like 12, 13 doing this too. Imagine if I ever, for some reason, and it's never going to happen because I don't like pain that much. If I was for whatever reason just full-time deathmatch wrestler, I would go back to going just only as Dick Nuts. But and so we're doing this and we're recording. We have a YouTube channel, and I realize that I want to say Arkansas CW at the time, infomercials. You could pay for infomercials. And my dad was a car dealer, which meant that I was also working at the car dealership. Either it was washing cars or selling cars whenever I got a little bit older. I had some spending money. And so I realized that for an infomercial slot at 3 a.m. for the Arkansas CW on like a Tuesday, Wednesday night is $30. And so I find this woman's email address who handles the promotion for it, for buying infomercials. And I sent her a message like, hey, I have this wrestling promotion. We have these tapes and I want to buy an infomercial slot. And we have some, we go back and forth and it seems to be going all right until she starts to look more into it. And then she sends a message. She's like, are y'all 18? It's like, no, we're not. I'm 13, 14. And she's like, well, from what we were told, what our legal says, is that you have to be at least 18 to have a license to wrestle. And you have to have, if we're going to put this on our airwaves, you have to be licensed. And even if you were just in the backyard on the trampolines doing shitty clotheslines and choke slams, you have to have a license.
Yeah, I'll get into that stuff too here in a minute when you get done.
And so I say, well, what if we just say that we're acting? We're not actual wrestlers. We're just acting as if we were wrestlers. And we go back a couple more times, and basically she goes, you know what? Fuck it. Just send us a highlight. Send us like what you would send us, what we would put on our live, on our show, on our airways. Just send us your first episode. And I send it to her. We have some matches. We have some promos. I send it to her. and I did not hear anything back. She ghosted my ass when she realized how bad, because it was terrible.
But
was
at
terrible.
that time, you didn't think that it would. You thought you were amazing.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
sometimes whenever I'm watching this, and I was like, ugh. Oh, there's a lot of downtime. He hit me with a clothesline, and we're just standing there because we don't know how to call a match.
Well, see, and that's the thing. That's how I got started. I was actually older though. That's why I have this ring.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we did the backyard stuff for nearly 10 years back here. And that's actually how I got into actual wrestling, because for a long time I didn't realize wrestling was a thing anywhere. You know, I grew up down in Louisiana. There's not a whole lot of shows down there, and I moved up here. I didn't know anything about the wrestling scene at all. So we did Thunderdome Wrestling Federation.
Ooh.
And that honestly, that's why Josh said though, that's why I acclimated into wrestling as easy as I did, because I tried to run it like an actual show. Like I had the card set up, the format, all that good stuff, storylines, all. And yeah, we did this. Me and you are on a very similar page. You know, multiple characters and stuff like that. We thought we were amazing, and I go back and look at this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, that was crap.
I can't even go back and look on it, because whenever I was in high school or at the end of junior high, some of the older kids found it, and they were laughing. They're like, "Hey, Tyler, is this you?" And I was like, "Nope, obviously that's not me. That guy's wearing a mask." And I went home and deleted it all.
See, and that's the thing. I still have them. Like they're private on my YouTube, but I still have like all of these matches, highlight reels. Like I did it like I had multiple cameras set up. I tried to do it like an actual show.
Yeah.
And then that's actually how I got into it, because one of the guys that did it with us worked with Josh Cross.
Huh.
And one day he brought Josh to the house. Me and Josh worked a little makeshift match. And he was like, "Hey man, you got some, some what's the word? Potential." He was like, "Why?" He was like, why don't we do some training and you actually try to do this?" Well, at that same time, I'd found out that you had to be licensed and all that stuff, because I started putting flyers at the gas station down the road trying to get people to come out here to watch. And that was the one difference, though, is I had a lot of actual support, like people actually have every match I've ever had on film, and they're all awesome. But no, there was a local guy, Matt Riviera, that saw this stuff and actually reported it to the athletic commission. And I got phone calls from the athletic commission because I was trying to promote it like a regular show. So I get it. I don't hold no ill feelings about that or nothing like that. But that's what motivated me to get into wrestling. And then MACW is where I had my first match back in 2015, and it just gone from there. But yeah, it's crazy. We've got a very similar past on this. Yeah. How old are you?
30.
Okay, see, I was 33 when I started training, so a little bit older. But you know, I'm the DDP of Arkansas wrestling. But so, but that's great. So overall, since you've been wrestling let's go. It's going to be a 2-layer deal. Okay. Big show wise, like WWE, the bigger names and stuff like that. Who have been your biggest influences for wrestling?
It shouldn't come to a lot of surprise that Mick Foley is one of my biggest inspirations just in general. He was he was my favorite wrestler growing up as a kid, especially after Chris Benoit, turned into a fucking monster. Growing up as a kid, I loved Benoit because he reminded me of my uncle. Because he was just, an ugly, like a short, ugly, balding man. And hey, Unc, how's it going? And so after he became a monster, and it took me 2 years to understand that he, committed a murder-suicide. I was in denial. I understand, not making that joke, but I understand. I was a kid, didn't really understand what was going on until I eventually realized. It was like, who I really love? Mick Foley, because
Yeah.
he is a very creative man, has all these gimmicks, shoves socks down people's throats, and most importantly, he was fat. So I was a fat kid growing up, still a fat guy now, and I was like, I see myself in this Mick Foley fella. And whenever we were doing the backyard wrestling, I started doing a fucking mandible claw, getting the sock and everything, ripping that off, and it's like, oh yeah, we're doing that. And so, Mick Foley has been a major inspiration. Thank you, Tommy. You're so sweet. Goldust. Goldust was also a big, one of my big favorites as a kid. Couldn't really talk about him as much with like the guys though, because of how.
Yeah, if you didn't watch wrestling, you didn't get it.
Even then, if you did watch wrestling and you're just with the guys and you're like, oh, my favorite is Goldust, the golden homosexual bitey man, and they were going to call you some homophobic slurs.
Oh Lord!
And so him, just any of like the eccentric. Growing up, I wasn't really much of like Edge, Randy Orton. I didn't really care. But you give me Mankind. I love Dusty Rhodes again because he was fat.
Well, it kind of sounds like a lot like, again, we are on a similar. Hey, thank you, Mac.
That's my wife commenting.
But no, we're on a similar, like we have a similar path here because like I can tell, like I was always drawn to more character driven wrestlers, and that definitely sounds like that's what you're going for. Like
Blue
like
Meanie.
I love Blue Meanie, but like for me, like Undertaker, Mankind, Papa Shango, even more recently Bray Wyatt, those type of characters. I love a character, a good character.
Oh, I loved Bray Wyatt as a teenager. Whenever
I can't say that because I was not a teenager.
Whenever he was active and everything, I loved Bray Wyatt, loved Daniel Bryan Danielson, one of the two. And so I just, those are the kind of guys that I like. And those are who I was inspired by. Also, one of my favorites as a kid, Curry Man, Shark Boy, specifically Stone Cold Shark Boy. I love Curry Man more than Christopher Daniels.
Oh, dude, it was so much personality in that character. So much personality.
Oh yeah, and so
oh, go ahead.
And those inspired, like that's whenever I started wrestling, because they always say all the time whenever somebody's first training, they have ideas for gimmicks, and a lot of times you want to be like, slow the fuck down, kid, because these gimmicks aren't going to work. Which is something I got to have that talk by a man named Carl Mayhem, who was also there for a lot of the training sessions with El Rey. And so, because I had this stuff, it's like, oh, I'm going to dress up like this penguin guy. I'm going to be King Penguin, or I'm going to be this caveman called Ungar, or my favorite is Wild Turkey P. Henson, who wore this mask that was basically like a kind of turkey mask, half turkey, half man, with this giant bulging cartoon eye from the side. And he was a second generation wrestler who was the son of the gobbledygooker, who had a chip on his shoulder because his father wasn't given the respect he deserved.
Is that right there? That's a shoot.
Now, for real, I have sketches. I made all of these sketches for the costumes and stuff. I'll send them to you later.
Definitely.
I would, whenever I was working, teaching speech in Little Rock, instead of doing my job, I was doing these sketches. So I was really worried about this wrestling deal. But and there's Banana Man. Yeah, we haven't talked about the Bananimal yet. That's later on. Oh, so the Bananimal. So whenever I went to back, for a bit, I quit teaching because the kids almost killed me. And I went back into grad school. And so I was doing athletic training. And there was a time to where I was thinking, I might lose my Saturdays and my Fridays because I'm going to have to be at games, but I still want to wrestle. And so what the Bananimal was and I feel like I can say this because they're not around anymore. You know that was AWE?
Yeah.
Cersei?
Yeah.
The show's quality wasn't necessarily the greatest.
I've been there several times. So
Yeah.
I
And
know.
so it was one of those things where I was thinking, I don't know if I want to have, Mule and Yonko. I don't want to have this associated with that. And so I came up with the Bananimal, which was my take on like George Steele. This giant
Okay.
kind of like monster, blah, blah, blah. So originally, whenever like one of the first gimmicks that came up was being a caveman. And so I kind of wanted to play into that. And the Bananimal was me putting on face paint, and I was basically a banana themed like George Steele.
That's great.
And
Oh,
I think Peter Van was going to manage me.
wow.
Pete and I had talked about it a little bit.
So we talked about your inspiration on a major level. What about on a local level? Who locally or like that you've worked around with and stuff like that? Who's been your bigger inspiration on a local level?
One of my biggest inspirations for me, and especially because I haven't gotten to talk about him that much so far, despite how much influence he has had in my wrestling career, is Norman Meklikoff.
I love Norman.
Norman Meklikoff.
Love Norman.
After the first few months of me being here and wrestling around in Jonesboro, Craig hooked me up with Norman because he was like, hey, he lives nearby. He has a wrestling ring and he trains on Saturdays. He has this new kid, Caleb or Fang.
Yeah,
What a lot of people, Fang McCall. It's what a lot of people know him as. It's like, I want you to kind of train it.
He's been riding around with me here recently.
Oh, I'm sorry. And so he was like, you can do this to get you some more reps. And Norman was like, oh, it'll be great to have someone to help me training this new kid. And so Norman did a lot with me. We went through a lot of matches, just a whole bunch of repetition. El Rey gave me some basics. Craig refined those basics and corrected what was wrong and gave me a good start. And then Norman fine-tuned that. Norman was no nonsense because the first day I was there, psychology, everything great. The first time I was there, he was like, all right, I want to see you kind of do a practice match with my new kid, with Caleb. And I guess it wasn't good. I don't really remember it, but it wasn't good because he told me at the end of the day, he was like, because this is after I've debuted and I've had a couple matches, and he looks at me and he says, I don't know why you've debuted because I don't think you're ready. I don't think you're ready to be going around having matches. And he was correct. But that lit a fire into me because I didn't get sad and go, oh, he said I'm shit. He says that he thinks that I'm bad. I was like, oh, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so I went there every weekend, every Saturday morning, and went there. A lot of times I was about 10 minutes late, but I was there. I stayed as long as I could. And day in and out, he helped craft me into the wrestler that I am. He is my biggest inspiration. I worked very similar to him. Very simple, a lot of strikes, and a lot of character work.
See, that's when I first started, like one of my first 5 or 10 matches, somewhere in that first little area, I got to work with him. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to think of all this stuff. And he goes, don't worry, kid. Just do this. And then we'll do this. And that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it simple. And I've honestly, that's honestly a mentality that I've had the entire time I've wrestled. It's like, hey, I can do a lot of cool stuff. I just don't have to. But when I do pull it out, it's neat.
Yeah. And so I cannot understate how much help Norman has been to my wrestling career and to my ability in ring.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad I love hearing, people giving credit where credit's due. Because like I said, I've known Norman since I started, and I always thought he was a phenomenal guy. I always really enjoyed his matches, and to hear that side of things, because I never got to work with him like that. That I love hearing that because Norman deserves a lot more credit than what he's given. Especially if you look at what you've done. If he's the reason why you are who you are, then he deserves that credit.
Yeah, and Craig.
You're damn good, man.
Him and Craig. Thank you. Him and Craig.
You're stiff as shit, but
I've loosened up a lot. I have loosened up a lot.
I'm just messing with you.
I do think it's funny. I've had one person tell me to lighten up while we're doing a death match, and not for me using weapons. Like I'm hitting him with some clubs, and he goes, "Oh fuck, loosen up, man." And so, it was it's a fun thing to say. But I guess for inspiration wise, I I don't know if inspiration is the right word. There's a lot of people that I love being around and I love watching. I don't necessarily take things from them as much because we wrestle very differently.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people to where, well, I guess I am inspired because I'm like, wow, you're so good. I want to be at your level. Kay
I get
Toomer, William Blackwell, those, Grayson Beckett. Those guys inspire me.
I love hearing that.
Yeah. Just phenomenal workers. Hell, you inspire me, Bruce, with all the character work. I'm inspired a lot by you guys.
We try.
Also,
our
not
goal
necessarily.
is to just like the way I look at it, like me, I started later in age, and I'm older now. I'm 44. I personally, I don't know how much I've got in me physically. I don't know. It might be a year, it might be 5 years. Who knows? But
Oh, and Walker 13. By God,
oh yeah,
by
well,
God, he's one of the men that really I kind of look to with the creepy stuff. It's like, Ooh, and Herzog. Herzog?
I love her dog.
Herzog's great.
I actually, when the first year of wrestling, when Sleazy did that show at that gym,
Sleazy, he's a big inspiration. I have a lot to owe to him as well.
but yeah, Sleazy actually put me in a match where I tagged with Herzog.
Wow.
Me, Deadly Dale, Herzog, and Frank, Big Frank, the guy that Herzog used to run with a lot. I got to tag with those guys. I've known Alex for a long time. Those some good dudes, man. You got a good list there, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I see somebody in the background.
Oh, yep, that was my wife. Let me turn it so whenever she comes by, she's not visible. But I just want to put Sleazy over just really quick because he is, I feel, one of the best people in this scene in Arkansas because he's one of the nicest guys. He's helped me. He's given me so many opportunities, and he gives opportunities to people in general. That's been one of his major MOs with NSR is giving people who don't necessarily get opportunities.
Well, and that's what that kind of goes with like that gym show I was talking about. I wasn't even a year in, and he was putting me in a main event area.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I told him when he was on here the last show I did. What's up, Sid? The last show that we did, Sleazy was on here, and I was like, in all honesty, and I meant every word of it, he's one of the most passionate people about wrestling. I mean, and just passionate as a person. I mean, just a genuinely good guy,
And also TB inspires me. Jester Drilling, I've been tagging with him for the past, I want to say year and a half. I have had a lot of hand in with his training. So a lot of times it was just me and him on Thursday nights, just up there while I go through basics with him. The amount of character work and passion that comes off of TB during a match, I hardly see anywhere else. I don't think from the amount of time, the amount of experience TB has in general, I don't think exactly, Unc. Yes, sir. I don't think I've seen anyone that has taken to water as much as TB has.
The only thing that I've seen with TB that I would like to see improve is his confidence.
Oh yeah, well that's his main. That's his big thing. That's his big thing, and that's one of those things to where more reps. It's more reps. Because I remember talking to Sleazy one time and talking about how I thought TB needed more reps. And he was like, "Well, if you don't think he's technical enough, But I was like, no, that's not the thing. TB, his technical skills, they're great. They're fine. They're definitely where they need to be for the amount of time that he has had. It's confidence in knowing what he's going to do next. But that's with the moves. The confidence that he has in his character and who he is as TB to show, you can't teach that.
Right.
You cannot find that.
No, when I say that, I meant like in ring.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So, because like the first time I actually got to see him in ring was when y'all tagged at Hoxie that one time, and I talked to y'all afterwards and all of that, and like you did your stuff and like that, and you tagged him in, and straight into heat. He didn't do a
Yeah.
single thing because he didn't initiate anything. He immediately let them take over.
Mhm.
And I really would have liked to see him do more with that.
And he's
because,
gotten so much better at that.
and
He's
that's
gotten
good.
so
That's
much
good.
better. He's improved so much. That's why I love. You should see some of his singles matches. You
Dude,
said you
that-
saw the one with Santa Chiva.
Yeah.
I was told that he had one. I want to say last week at the last show with Slick Nick Scott.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Craig told me it was great, and I believe him.
good.
I know for a fact that it's great.
I know at the float he did a match with Logan.
Mhm.
And from what I saw, I really enjoyed it. I thought he a lot of personality, a lot of character. Logan's easy to work with anyway,
Yeah.
So I feel like something like that, the more matches like that will build that confidence up. Because he definitely deserves what he's getting. He definitely
does.
deserves to be a featured player on somebody's show.
Mhm.
A lot of personality, and I can see the influence of you and Sleazy in him very easily. So
Yeah.
I compliment y'all tremendously on that.
And that's one of the things that I'm really excited to do as Yanko's work with TV specifically, because that's where that's leading to. All right. So why was the Clown at 901 this past Sunday? So the thing is August 9th was my wife's birthday. And I understand that August 10th, the day that the 901 show was on, is not August 9th. However, I love my wife. I love being married to my wife. And one of the major things, one of my major philosophies as a husband in general has been avoid as many fights as you can, especially with the wrestling stuff. So my wife, she doesn't really get it. She doesn't really like the fact I wrestle because I get hurt and I'm also spending time away from her. I get it. I understand that she would want to spend as much time as she wants with me. I'm a great guy. I'm great to be around.
That's a great answer.
I say she just did a
Tommy's comment right there. That's a great answer.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things to where it's like, look, understand, I'm not going to wrestle on your birthday weekend.
Yeah.
What, baby girl? I've done something similar. It was about I can't wait to see TV at 901. Yes, sir. I can't wait to bring him out. I can't wait to bring the Clown back. Because again, that's what I'm really wanting to transition more to.
Yeah.
Especially since I'm an elementary school teacher. It kind of hides some of the stuff, you know what I mean? Where someone sees me as Mr. Meal talking about, I'm going to stab him with a fork. I'm going to stab his eyes out. I'm going to tear his eyes out. I'm going to take your parents, rip them to shreds, and you're going to be an orphan. It's so much more easy for a parent to be like, oh, I don't want that man teaching my kids. Oh, what up, prestigious? I was talking about you earlier with Johnny Dotson, but my favorite memories in the ring. Are you talking about whenever are you talking about the Bueno Man deal? Where we faked you out?
There's a 7-second delay between when we're talking and when it actually airs live. So
I figured there was some sort of delay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for those who aren't aware, it was the last time I was at Hoxie. I'm not getting to all that deal. That's not. I don't like talking about. I don't like talking spreading negativity. But I was there, just backstage, and by negatively, I specifically mean in reference to, stuff with Jamie. Because there's some other negative stuff that I'm not.
Either way.
Regardless, I was there just in the back. So I want to say I spent the last 2 days at the Heathen House handling with the No Ring Death Match tournament that Sleazy was running. And then the next day I was kind of like, I'm really tired and I'm getting home at 1:00. How about I just kind of do OCW and just go backstage, just watch a match, because Fang was there and Matt was wrestling. Matt Vanbrook, he was wrestling. Loved that kid. He's going to be something. Yes. He is going to be something as long as he keeps with it. And so I wanted to watch him wrestle and I wanted to watch Fang. And I feel, again, it's one of those things where I've helped Fang so much with like his training and being a part of it. I don't know, just being a part of his. I feel, he's like not a son, like a little brother is sometimes how I
I
feel,
get
at
it.
least with gauging his progress.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see his match. And Prestigious Pearson, he was doing some deal to where they didn't know who he was going to wrestle. Like he had this first match, he beat somebody, calls somebody out. He calls somebody out, and they just had question marks written for his actual opponent. And I'm just backstage bullshitting, and they're like, "Hey, you got your mask on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I always keep Bueno Man in my car." Which Bueno Man was my luchador gimmick from the
Yeah.
brief time I just wanted to be a luchador and be a face, and that got over really well. But regardless, but yeah, and so they're like, "Just go. We're just going to tell him that you're wrestling him." And it's going to turn out he's wrestling Jackie, JPG, but we're going to surprise him with it. And so I put on my Bueno Man stuff and I start calling the match with him. I was like, all right, we're going to do this. We're just going to call it out there, but let's get this opening sequence started because I do some lucha stuff. I do some lucha stuff. Even though I'm a fat man, I do fat man lucha shit. It's great. It's very fun to watch.
Yes,
But
it is.
everybody loves to see a fat man do a running crossbody. That's the most athletically impressive thing that I can do. But my fat ass gets out in the air. But so we come out, we have it set up. I'm coming out to this mariachi version of Cody Rhodes' theme. And I just come out, walk up, and he's expecting me to come in there. I look around, and I just turn my happy ass back around and walk backstage. And then Jackie comes out. JPG comes out. Preston flips his shit because he wasn't expecting it. And they have a match. And exactly. Fat guys are always cool. I want to see more fat guy wrestlers.
Personally, I'm a little cool.
I want to see more fat guy wrestlers. I want to see more fat guys, more men slapping meat. We need more hosses. I see everybody talking like, "Oh, you got to be ripped. You got to have the six pack and everything." This is a visual business, probably. But you know what was always selling out all of those arenas? Big pudgy men.
I got a six pack. It's just hidden under a thick layer of fat.
Mm-hmm. I don't need a six pack, baby. I got the whole barrel, the whole keg. I need more fat men wrestling without shirts on. Going all bare chested, all titties out. Show those people your meat. And honestly, wait, hold on. I don't like how I said that. But also, just as a general thing, just as a general suggestion for a lot of big guy wrestlers, something that I see, my biggest suggestion, especially if you're working shirtless, Pearson, you're probably going to get one, especially if we keep doing no ring stuff. My biggest suggestion for fat men is to get you some high-waisted pants to wrestle in, because that gives you such a big silhouette, and you don't look as fat in them.
Well, I remember when I started Tico Murdoch. I think that's his name.
Maybe.
He was wrestling MACW, and he had the regular trunks, but they were the high-waisted trunks.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying that. I think William Blackwell's been doing that recently as well.
Yeah, because it's one of those things to where, because a lot of the ways that you look like schlubby and fat is because you have that disconnect in your silhouette from your stomach to your crotch, to where it makes that kind of little B. But if you eliminate that with high-waisted stuff, you look more intimidating. You look like a unit.
That's why I wear
a fucking monster
under singlet. So, you've been doing this for a few years now, and all. What would you say has been the highlight of your career so far? Yeah, I throw them out there out of left field. So.
Oh yeah, well, that's one of those things I feel like someone should always know. Oh yeah, of course you got to know how to work, baby. I'm not trying to be a proponent of, I'm 400 pounds, I'm walk and get gassed 30 seconds in because you can't actually fucking work. No, you got to learn how to work.
KT's had matches with guys that are like that. That's why he makes that statement. I know exactly who he's talking about.
I remember being there one time. I thought Timmer was going to slap the shit out of the guy because he
only one time.
Well, we were in Mountain Pine. The guy was They had a
Oh,
match. That's
I know that
Toomer's. You
story.
know what? That's Toomer's story to tell. But oh, yeah. Um, oh goodness, what was I saying? Um, Pearson, we're probably going to work. Oh, my favorite match. My
Well,
highlight.
your favorite
Yeah,
moment, match,
I think.
any of that in general.
I mean, honestly, one of the biggest highlights of getting to work TAC, getting to work Memphis. 'Cause, Memphis has well. First off, TAC. Whenever they first popped up, I always wanted to be a part because I saw these crowds and I was like, "Oh, this is so fucking cool! I want to be a part of it." And now I get to be a part of it with Memphis. That was always one of the biggest goals. Whenever I started with Tuckerman, because I was like, "Oh, Memphis is a step up," and now I'm working in Memphis. We're working at Minglewood Hall. Uh, so those have been some pretty big milestones. But I want to say so far the highlight has been getting to tag with Eugene.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yep. Really cool guy. He was there and he was tired as fuck, and I don't blame him. But uh, huh?
Dude,
Thank you, Kay.
you're making an impact. You really are.
Thanks, thanks. I mean, I was just happy to be a part of it. The people really like the see. That's why I'm trying to do more Yonko stuff. Is because people will see the clown and that's a striking figure.
It's memorable.
It's memorable, and the fact I'm actually creepy because there's so many people who do a similar gimmick and they're just like, I'm crazy, and they laugh and they use it as an excuse to laugh around and don't sell because they can't actually. I'm sorry, that's I'm going
That
mean.
hit a little close to home, man.
Not talking about you, damn it. I'm not talking about you. But it's so hard for someone. It's hard being actually creepy. Somehow I do it.
And you do it very well. Like
Yeah.
that picture that I used for the promotional stuff on it.
Yeah.
Dude, like like it's just a simple thing, but
Yeah.
like that look in your eyes, it's a deranged look that you can't teach. That's
Yeah.
the
No.
thing is the stuff that you're doing, you can't teach that, you know.
You know what's funny about that picture? The face paint that I have on there is entirely Photoshop.
Really?
Yeah. I was I was lazy that day, and I was like, well, I don't have enough time to like put it on and take it off. My wife will be home in an hour, and I have clothes to fold, and so it's like, all right, we're just gonna take it, and I'll do it in post. And so, but yeah, thanks, Toomer. It was a lot. I was glad to be a part of it. I really was.
Yeah, Toomer shows are always fun to be there. One thing I always like about his shows is that he has a running narrative of this big bad throughout the entire show. Like I've been a part of that type of thing in multiple of his shows, but it's always a layered thing throughout the entire show. I really enjoy that format. You know.
Also, that show meant a lot for me that weekend because the day before I did not have a good time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we talked about this, and I'm not going to get into it just because again, a lot of it was my fault, and it was just a bad night. It was a bad night, and the day after that Sunday, really reaffirmed to me what I was doing.
Oh,
What I
I
did as a
understand
wrestler.
completely. Like me personally, like it was a confidence boost. You know,
Mm-hmm.
to be trusted, like for what he did with me. You know, to be trusted to be in that position. Multiple times for him. You know it's always a big working KT shows are always a big confidence boost for me personally, at least, because I think he puts on a great event. You know,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Mm-hmm. And he's one of the best. I trust. Whatever Kay says, I trust. How he feels on things, what he thinks works, I trust a lot because he is a traveled motherfucker.
Yep.
Yep. Also, since I did, yeah, prestigious fee. Yes, I will be there on the 17th. Yonko will be there on the 17th, and Well, I guess I can mention this because it's going to be in about a week. But as far as I know, a certain little pretty boy who puts a little X on his face with all these dreadlocks and everything, uh, looking like a sexy Seth Rollins, is going to get down with the clown. At least that's
Well,
from what I've heard.
well, and like I said, I may be there. I may not be working, but I may be there. You know, even just to support. You know, so what the hell? I'm scared of clowns, man. But no, I think that's going to be a pretty good show. I did one of Sleazy's first no ring shows.
Mhm.
Worked Logan Maverick. Uh, Enjoyed it. I mean, for me, the no ring shows like my style. It kind of somewhat limits me a little bit, but I
Yeah,
think that's why I like doing it though because it pushed me out of my comfort zone.
it does. The first, whenever I was first kind of doing one, the first one, because I did one with TB, we did like the whole cousin versus cousin deal. Iron sharpens iron. We're having this family fights and we're just trying to make each other better. We did that. And I
Yeah,
didn't feel very confident in how it went because this is so different. That was like my first death match adjacent anything. We didn't really even go very hard. Definitely not as far as I went with Buddy Badcock.
oh yeah, I was there for that one.
That scared off people. Um, and I went to a Ren Fair show the day after that. But regardless, so we did that. I didn't feel good about it. I was like, I don't know if this is really my stuff. And then I remember at the No Ring Death Match tournament Sleazy was doing, he had me and TB. We worked Grayson Beckett and Tyler Fox. Also, Tyler Fox, I didn't get a chance to shout him out. Love that kid. He's
Yeah,
great. Um, and so he we worked them like I worked Grayson, he worked Tyler, and then we wound up doing the main event to where we did a tag match. And I going up there, I wasn't wanting to do one at all. I was like, I'm just here to help. I'm not doing a match. And then Sleazy's like, oh, we're doing a match. I was like, you know what? I'll do it for tonight, especially knowing who I'm working. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. Never again. Especially the night after kind of submitted it for me because they have the tournament and everything. And someone had to call out or someone couldn't make it. And so this guy named Bootleg Dave, really cool guy. I
yeah.
love him to death. He's everybody's been drinking and everything, and I don't know if you don't know this about me. I don't do anything. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Um, Mainly because I get drug tested and I can't
Me
handle
neither.
alcohol. Yeah, I am a sad person when I drink, and so I was like,
I'm an
yeah.
emotional drinker as well, so I get
So
it.
yeah, and so everyone's having a good time. They're buzzing and everything, and Bootleg comes to me. It's like, hey, um, my guy's not coming. So they told me you would do this match. I was told that you would do this match, and I was like, no, I don't want to. It's like I was told you wouldn't say no. It's like, don't know who told you that. And so at first we talk about it, it's like, well, I got this Nacho Libre mask in my car. Because I was like, you know what, I'll do it, but I'll just do it as a squash. I'll do a 30-minute squash. But he's like, I don't want to squash you. You were here last night and you're somebody. I don't want to squash you. And he's like, well, wait, I got this Nacho Libre mask. And it's like, all right, we're going to do the squash match. But then he was like, all right, so we're going to do this and how we're going to blade. And it's like, buddy, 30-second squash match. And then he's like, also, I'm wearing a mask. How am I going to blade? He's like, man, I just don't want to do this as a 30-second deal. And then I was like, man, I don't want to do it. And then he was like, oh, it's cool. It's cool. It's like, I know I'll find somebody who can. TB is better at these than I am. And so I go to get TB. TB can't do it. He was having some fun. He was not mentally able to. He was in a tent having a very fun time. And so he was zooted. He was gone. And so then I'm talking to Sleazy, and he's like, you don't want to do it? And I was like, no, not really. It's like, then you're not doing it. We'll handle it from there. And then thankfully, someone else that was doing the tournament was like, I'll just do it another match. And he did. And, again, Bootleg Dave, great guy, fun guy, cool guy to be around. Love him. Kind of hate that maybe one day in the future we'll get to do something. Maybe go around this. The story, moral of the story is I didn't want to do them anymore, but then this one popped up, and now I'm excited. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm doing the Yonko stuff. Maybe that's what's really gotten me to doing it. Yes, Palace.
I love that kid. I feel like he has all the potential in the world. 100%. I got to work with him at the Kapow show. We didn't get to go very long because it was so damn hot.
Yeah.
But man,
I found out
he's
I
a
was
good
his first
kid.
match. I learned that one day.
Really?
Watching some interview he was doing. Hey, what up, CJ? I was watching some interview he was doing with Papa Dank. He mentioned how I was his first match, and I was like, well, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, it was like a 2-3 minute squash match, kind of as me as Ugly Steve. We got 3 minutes in, and he's like, all right, let's go home. And it's like, well, okay, you seem like you know what you're doing. And he was like, well, you're breathing kind of hard. And it's like, I'm fat, man. I'm going to breathe hard for the next 10 minutes, but we're going to get through it. And so it was a very fun night. I'm glad that I got to be his first match.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing. You know, I've been a few people's first matches and all like that, and that's something that sticks with you, man. You know that you like, especially like if somebody like when they grow and become like better and better and better, and you see them like, man, I had a hand in that. I'm a footnote in his story, but I love being that footnote. You know what I mean? It's a good feeling. I've been several people's first match. I've been a couple of people's last match. It's something you don't forget.
No.
So, well, man, we have been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Like last time I scheduled 2 different people just in case, but I did not do that this time. I'm glad I didn't because I've really enjoyed talking with you, man. I really enjoyed listening.
I've enjoyed being on here.
Before we get off here, I got one more thing for you. What do you feel? What does the future hold for Yonko?
So with Yonko,
I appreciate that.
A whole lot of clowning and buffoonery, and a whole lot of being a creepy killer clown man. He is the world's deadliest talking mime, and we're going to get into a lot of that. A lot of kind of like art Terrifier stuff, probably a lot of horror stuff. I've just now recently gotten to watch the Terrifier movies, but
dude,
it's a whole lot of that, a whole lot of working in Memphis. Specifically, you can find me at 901 on September 7th at Liberty Park. And then I want to say that's September 7th. No. September 7th at Minglewood. And then September 13th at Liberty Park during the afternoon. You can find me later that day in Tuckerman with the bell time being 7:30. And you'll see me in Little Rock for a little bit. You're going to be seeing a lot of Yonko. You're going to be seeing a lot of Yonko doing what he does best. Hurting people, choking them out, and trying to do submissions.
Hell yeah, man. Well, again, man, I look forward to seeing the growth, the evolution going even more because, like I said, I've enjoyed it since I met you, man.
That means a lot.
I can 100%. I see your passion. I see how much you love this. I see how much effort you put into it. So I definitely 100% congratulate you. I look forward to it. But
thank you.
Everybody that's been watching, we appreciate you sticking with us. If you could, Facebook deletes these live videos after 30 days now, but you will be able to find this on YouTube. It is on my Draven Morrow YouTube channel. It is on SDU Network's YouTube channel. It is also on Bruce McGowan's YouTube channel.
Hey, before I go, there's just one more thing I want to do since I haven't gotten the chance to do it within this near 2 hours. It's just
that is a great way to subscribe, share the shit out of this stuff. Man, Tyler, thank you again for being on here.
Thank you for having me on here.
Just hang tight till after we end it. But thank everybody for watching, and everybody have a good night.